One thing that the inclusivity committee is getting ready to do, and actually something that the art team is working on, art project
Yeah.
is working on developing, is trying to come up with ways to get folks to really think about, how does white supremacy show up in Derby?
Yeah.
I mean, I think when people hear the term white supremacy, they think of the really blindingly obvious things,
Right.
cross burning on the lawn, white hoods, white sheets, lynchings. I don't want to say that old school white supremacy, but the stuff that's been out there in that format.
Mm-hmm.
They don't recognize that white supremacy and racism has morphed over time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's going to include some of that blatantly obvious stuff, but it's also going to involve some of that sneakier stuff, such as race-based covenants written into real estate contracts that mandate that this certain neighborhood will not sell or rent houses to Black people or to Jews or to Hispanic people. It shows up as being anti-affirmative action when it turns out that white women are some of the biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action. It shows up as, constantly decrying Black women as being welfare mothers or Black people as being, on welfare, when it turns out that the majority of people on welfare are poor white people. Things like that.
Yeah.
It showed up, and let me go ahead and throw it in there. It showed up in protests where during the summer and fall, Black folks and allies out there protesting against police brutality, basically saying, stop killing us. They get pepper sprayed, they get maced, they get, thrown in jail on whatever charges. But there's a whole bunch of those insurrectionists from January 6th that are still walking free. There was one recently who got judges' permission to go ahead and take their vacation to Mexico that they had already planned out before the insurrection.
I was actually going to bring that up because I think that is such a prime example of just, you have the audacity as a white person, and this is white privilege showing itself. You have the audacity to ask a judge to go on vacation after you did what you did.
After you went to the Capitol, and even if she didn't actually go in and find people with zip ties and whatnot,
Yeah,
she was there in support of that shit.
Yeah, and
excuse me, but she
yeah,
did.
no, I mean, and that's and again, thinking back to, as you were saying earlier, the people who are known, Brianna Taylor, who was asleep in her bed, Ahmaud Arbery, who was out on a jog, were killed.
Just
but this woman, just for being, but this woman was at a riot protesting the voices of American people because she thinks that Trump should have won over Biden. And I keep saying too, I can't even tell you, all the people that are like, well, how many of them were fake votes and things. I mean, we're getting very political right now, but the fact that you think that you can go and storm a Capitol and then go on vacation afterwards is just the
ludicrous.
Yeah. And this is
unreal.
Yeah.
Hi.
these are my little buddies. But this is
at the same time, during the summer, I wanted to go to a bunch of those protests, but I decided not to because I'm a Black person.
Right.
I would have been seen as a threat, even if I wasn't up there on the front line. I didn't want to run the risk of being caught, at a protest and having charges thrown out at me or getting beat up, just because I was a Black person at a protest. Protesting for my right to be able to be treated with civility.
Yeah.
So I stayed home.
Yeah.
stayed home, and I had, breakdowns
Yeah.
during the summer and the fall because I wanted to be out there, but didn't feel like I could be. And then here they are busting through windows and, desecrating, both houses, both chambers of Congress, just because their candidate didn't get their way.
Yeah. Can you say
And
hi?
I'm sitting up here trying to live.